People who vape suffer... Let me start again. Put my teeth in and do it again. People who vape suffer similar changes to their DNA as smokers who develop cancer, scientists at the University College London have revealed. This is the first major study to make a link.
And this comes as a new bill to protect future generations across the UK from the harmful impacts of smoking will be introduced to Parliament today. So the Health Minister, Maria Caulfield, is live in Westminster for us this morning. Very good morning to you, Maria Caulfield. What are you going to do to protect all of us from not just smoking, but it seems also the harmful effects of vaping as well?
Yeah, well, we've always been very honest that we don't know the long-term effects of vaping. We do know that it is safer than smoking, but our mantra has always been, if you don't smoke, don't vape, and children should never vape, because we're being honest with people that no one knows the long-term effects of vaping. This study that's come forward obviously shows that it does make similar cell changes. What we're not sure is what happens then in terms of a disease progression in things like cancer and heart disease. But obviously we're monitoring that extremely closely.
What are you doing with cigarettes? Is it really going to be the case that year by year your ambition is to phase out cigarettes altogether from UK society?
Yeah, absolutely. So for current smokers, it won't affect them. But for anyone who's 15 or younger, they will never legally be able to buy cigarettes or tobacco products. So every year, the age limit will go up. So anyone who's a child now will never be able to legally buy these products, because we do absolutely want to phase out smoking completely. It takes 80,000 lives a year. It costs the country £17 billion. But also with vaping, there's additional parts of this legislation on children and vaping. It's already illegal for any child under 18 to be able to buy a nicotine-based vape, but there's a loophole. Those that haven't got nicotine but are flavoured or look like sweets or the way they're presented, they will also be banned now under this legislation. So children will not be able to vape because, again, we are not 100% confident in the safety profile of vaping products.
With the smoking ban that you're proposing, so you stop people of a certain age, are you not worried that it's balmy proposing to criminalise yet another variety of ordinary behaviour with no thought to the consequences for those who have to make it work? I should note that's not me, that's Boris Johnson, the former Conservative Prime Minister. So, I mean, you have a problem in your party over it, don't you?
Well, not really. All sides of the Conservative Party, from the right to the left to the centre, are supportive of this
Boris Johnson
proposal.
said it was balmy.
Well, I think Boris was proposed it was referring to if there was a ban on cigarettes. We're not proposing that at all. People will have a choice, knowing the risks, and adults know the risks fairly well about the risk of smoking, to choose to continue to smoke or not. But we can't, knowing the dangers that there are to people's health, allow another generation to take on those risks. We know that 80% of people who smoke have done so before they're 20, and we also know that when you talk to most smokers, they wish they'd never started. So we want to break that cycle, and starting at a young age is the way to do that.
I just want to be clear. I mean, listen, smoking is damaging for your wealth as well as your health, but you are not going to give adults the choice, because at some point the people you're banning from buying cigarettes will be adults, and then they will be banned for all their adult life. So just to be very clear, you are going to be banning at some point in the future. The effect of this is to ban adults from smoking.
Yes, but for existing smokers who are adults now, they will still have that freedom of choice. Of course, we want people to stop smoking, because even with the significant numbers that have, 80,000 people a year are dying from smoking-related illnesses, and that's not taking into account family and friends affected by that loss. That's also not taking into account illnesses which people live with from smoking-related illnesses. So we're not taking away that choice from existing adults, but yes, it will not be possible in the future once those young people get into adulthood to be able to buy tobacco products.
Thank you. For balance, I should say most UK chief medical officers agree with the policy. Just let me change the subject. I need your help. You'll forgive me. I'm stuck with the question people ask me, so I thought, as you're a health minister, I would ask you. I am constantly getting people saying that they're really in trouble because they can't get an NHS dentist. I know that you've put policy changes in place, but can you tell me, what should I answer to the enormous numbers of people who tell me they've got dental problems and they can't get an NHS dentist? What is the practical answer I should give people right now?
Yeah, well, dentists aren't directly employed by the NHS, and that has always been the case. So we are reliant on dentists taking on NHS contracts, and we acknowledge that the contract over the years has been far from ideal. That's why we made changes that we announced earlier this year. And we are seeing more dentists coming forward now to take on NHS contracts. We're seeing about 2.5 million more appointments being made. And there's more work that we're doing with the dentistry profession, both in terms of funding more appointments, but also upskilling dentistry teams so that dentistry technicians, for example, can take on
Minister,
more
that's a political
work.
answer.
Well, it's not.
What in practice, if you were asked the question I'm getting all the time, I can't get an NHS dentist, what should I do? I don't have an answer. Do you have one at the moment, or is the answer just suck it and see?
No, absolutely. As a constituency MP, I get this question all the time myself. And what I will say to you is we have a website. You can type in your postcode. It will show you your nearest NHS dentist and which groups of patients they are taking on. I can tell you from my own casework experience that this time last year, it was very difficult to find a dentist taking on new NHS patients in Sussex. If you go on now, there are significantly more dentists seeing NHS patients. So I'd encourage people to go onto our NHS website, type in your postcode, and it will show you your nearest dentist. That's being updated on a regular basis. And from my experience of helping constituents, we're seeing significantly more dentists coming forward and taking on NHS work.
The British Dental Association says paying dental practices 25% more to see patients would help keep dentists in the NHS. Is that something you would consider?
Well, we don't pay dentists specifically. It's part of their contract. They're paid for the procedures that they do.
Yeah.
But my colleague...
They say that the plans that you set out in February simply don't go far enough.
No, and we've been very clear that's just a starting point. But we need to, as Martin was saying, we need to get more dentists very quickly back into the system. So the golden handshakes with thousands of pounds to welcome dentists back into the NHS is releasing more appointments. But yes, there is more work to be done, absolutely, to kind of future-proof dentistry in the NHS.
I thank you for your practical answer that you gave me before. I'm sure people will go and try it out and they'll let us know whether it's working and successful in their area, that they can now find a dentist. Final question, and hopefully you were given notice that I was going to ask this question because I know it's outside of your department. There was a debate in Westminster yesterday. 80,000 parents of children with special educational needs are locked out of accessing their Kids Child Trust Fund, which was money they were given by the state to try and help their children in later life, because it is effectively more expensive to go to the Court of Protection to get access to the money than the money that's sitting in those accounts. I wrote to the Children's Minister about it. I got nothing. There was a Westminster debate yesterday, led by a Conservative MP, I should say. Is the government going to pull its finger out and help these parents who already have a tough enough time, 80,000 children with special educational needs, to get access to their children's money now these children are turning 18?
Yeah, so there's two things that are being done. It isn't my department, but I know that colleagues are working very hard on this. They have run a consultation, the Ministry of Justice, on how to free up this process, because it is a cumbersome process with parents who are facing very difficult challenges in addition to this. And the government are working through that. These responses that came through were very mixed in terms of solutions, and so it's tricky just to pinpoint one single solution that will make a difference. But the processing time is also being reduced. My understanding, it's gone from 24 weeks down to 12, but clearly there's a lot of work to do. But both the MOJ and the DWP are particularly picking up this piece of work rather than the Children's Minister. So I know that they recognise that this is a priority area for the government as well.
Well, let's hope it gets sorted. Thank you for looking into it.
Maria Caulfield, thank you very much indeed.